If you've ever been to any of America's national park units, you know they are something special. But not every place of historical or natural significance can become a national park. In this short video, we're going to take a look at a few places that have been chosen to become national parks throughout the years, and how they are chosen today. The National Park Service was created in 1916 as a way to effectively manage all the lands under the National Park moniker. But national parks have been in existence for almost 45 years before the NPS was established, starting with Yellowstone in 1872. And even before Yellowstone, places were being set aside for future park designation, with Yosemite being declared a protected area in 1864, but not becoming a park until 1890. And even further back in 1832, Hot Springs in Arkansas was set aside as a reservation, only becoming a national park in 1921. The simple answer as to how a place becomes a national park is through Congress. Most new national parks will be made through acts of Congress, and that is the only way for an original park to come into existence. However, in 1906, President Theodore Roosevelt passed the Antiquities Act, which allows the president to create a national monument on any land that is already under the protection of the federal government. If the president wants to make a national park out of their monument, though, Congress must approve of the decision first. Now here's where we get to the actual decision part. The Secretary of the Interior, the person who deals with organizations like the National Park System, is the person in charge of recommending places to Congress for induction into the system. The Secretary meets with a group of private citizens called the National Park System Advisory Board, who gives him or her recommendations for potential NPS sites. While the board has the final say on what gets brought up with the Secretary, proposals for new national park units may come from the public, state or local officials, Indian tribes, members of Congress, or the National Park Service itself. But let's say you didn't care about the entire process above and just wanted to know exactly what a place needs to even be considered to become one of the elite Park Service locations. Surprisingly, there are only 3 criteria that a site must meet. It must contain nationally significant natural, cultural, or recreational resources. It must be suitable to add to the NPS, in other words, the area can't be terribly damaged in any way, and should be worthy enough to allow visitors to come to it and learn from it. And it must go directly into the protection of the NPS once it becomes a park. Sounds simple enough, right? But as history has shown us, a lot of the time it takes passionate public groups and enough political force behind a movement to get a place on the national park roster. So, if you know of an area that you think deserves to be nationally recognized, get some people together, start some fundraising, and see where your efforts take you. Thanks for listening, and we hope you learned a little from the process of how some of America's most iconic places came to be.